did it work? It absolutely did work. As a matter of fact, you hear what Rick Perry said as he was leaving the governorship. Got to stop lawsuit abuse at the courthouse. And they did it. As a matter of fact, here's when Louisiana passed their tort reform law. Texas had created 499,000 jobs a year before. Louisiana had lost 53,000. So they decided they would go ahead and do it. Here's all the states around us that have tort reform. You see, we are the only one except for Kentucky.
Sir, you reached your time. If you could wrap it up, please.
I'll just stop right now if you don't want to hear the facts.
I'll just let you have. You go over your time. Would you like to wrap it up, please?
I'll wrap up as soon as you can. We're 5/8 of the way through. Has it expanded? We'll just jump through it. Yep, it's in every state from California to Maryland. And what are the types of damages? We'll jump through those. Here are the types of damages. Two types, compensatory and punitive. You can read the compensatory for yourself. This includes future lost wages. We keep hearing all of this stuff about we're putting a value on human life. We're not doing that at all. As a matter of fact, 95% of all cases are settled out in court, either through arbitration or between attorneys. So if somebody's putting a value on life, 95% of the time it's the attorneys doing it. Compensatory damages are covered. You've got your day in court, it has nothing to do with your day in court. Here's what you're capping. Punitive damages, these are where they slap you on the hand for saying, don't do that ever again. So who benefits and who doesn't? Well, who profits, you can probably figure. The ambulance chasers, personal injury attorneys. The tort attorneys, these people, I'm jumping through this. How many of these actually had any pain and suffering? Here's a lawsuit probably worth 100 grand. This is the lady that took her husband's friend's finger and put it in a chili at Wendy's. You remember that? Who was damaged? Wendy's was damaged. Their business went to half. They almost took a bankruptcy. And here's another one, $65 million settlement for a drunk lady. So sometimes it's the businesses that are harmed too much. Who profits if it passes? We all will win. Because we will have lower insurance rates and more doctors, health care. These are proven facts if you look at what's happened in Texas and other states. Your lower product costs, more jobs, and here's the big one for me, fewer attorney ads. Aren't you tired of seeing all the attorney ads?
It's called changing the channel.
Can you put that in writing and guarantee that that will happen?
In Arkansas? Arkansas has got a lot of problems. Tort reform, I can put it in writing and show you where it worked in Texas. You know, I don't have a crystal ball what's going to happen in
Communism worked in Russia.
Yes, it did.
Communism does not work here, where the government determines what the people do.
There's a lot of folks after socialism, though. Anyway, let's continue. I'm trying to hurry up here. These ads are continuing at a rate 6 times faster than any other type ads, the attorney ads.
Hi, I'm Ben Glass, and in our law firm video, which is in front of some really cool law books, I want to tell you a little bit about myself. At our law firm,
I think we get it, yeah.
We get it. We get it.
Okay, I'll skip past this. Here's the main point, the very final one. What groups are for and against issue 1?
Final point.
Well, let me tell you, there's a bunch of them. Number 1 is probably this Protect Arkansas Families. You see who all supports issue 1. In addition to this, besides the Republican Party being the sponsor, the Heritage Foundation, the U.S. Chamber of Commerce, all of these people.
Most of the
Who are these people? Every single one of them are comprised.
Well, my name's not on that.
of lawyers. Sorry we didn't get your name on there, we will do it.
I'm very important because I'm not an attorney, so my name needs to be on there.
But look who these people are. And family council, by the way, I had a debate with Jerry Cox a while back. He is
I'll
definitely,
stand by the opposed.
There.
Non-trial
That's
lawyer.
Arkansas against Arkansas Women Against Issue 1. You
but
said-
anyway, here's the family council. They actually now are up to $163,000 donation from Mike Rainwater Holt, Texas. So not all lawyers oppose this. As a matter of fact, listen to this one malpractice lawyer being honest.
Issue 1 is about tort reform, and tort means wrongs that are done that injure people. Attorneys like myself are in favor of issue 1 because it brings common sense reform to the tort system. It's good for consumers, it's good for businesses, it's good for doctors and nurses. The trial lawyers have a problem with issue 1 primarily because it would limit the contingency fees. In other words, how much they get to charge their clients for representing them in these kinds of cases. The misconception is that this will somehow keep people from getting a jury to hear their case, and that's simply not true. Issue 1 specifically preserves the right to trial by jury in civil cases. The reason I'm doing this is because I had clients come to me and say, what should we do? What should we think about issue 1? Is it good for us? And I had to look them in the face and say, yes, this is good for you. It may not be great, for people in my line of work, but for you, yes. This will make it much easier for you to do your job, which is taking care of people. And honestly, I don't think people understand the toll these lawsuits take, especially on doctors and nurses who do nothing but try to help people. What is being proposed here is going on across the country and has been for many years. It's not novel to Arkansas. It's not going to make us somehow different from the majority of states. We're just lagging behind. And the way we're going to have to do it is through the people's voice on a constitutional amendment. And frankly, I think that's
Since we have already
a good
gone
way to do
well
it.
over
That's we're going to
time,
allow
and
people
we're
to
now
become
showing
educated, learn how to
something
vote.
from an
We're
Arkansas
going to go to polls in November, and they're
I'd
going
like to be able
You
to
should
circle
vote
back
yes on
around
issue
to our
for
opposition
Arkansas,
to
and
the
people
Arkansas
that-
Bar Association